Begin our look at sports out in Brooklyn, where the Nets and head coach Kenny Atkinson have agreed to mutually part ways. The news came down early Saturday morning following a nice victory over San Antonio. Nets general manager Sean Marks repeatedly said Saturday afternoon that the decision to part ways with Atkinson a few hours earlier had come after multiple conversations between the two of them over the direction of the team and over Atkinson's ability to influence it. Nets center DeAndre Jordan strongly disputed reports that linked the coach's departure to high-profile players, namely Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, signed by the team last summer. Jacques Vaughn gets promoted to interim head coach here with the Nets. Vaughn made some early changes to start his new tenure, notably giving Jordan the start at center over Jared Allen. Jordan had started only 4 games before Sunday. Spencer Dinwiddie scored 24 points. Karis LeVert and Joe Harris each added 23, and Brooklyn beat the Chicago Bulls 110-107 yesterday. The Nets are in L.A. to face LeBron James and the powerhouse Lakers Tuesday. Julius Randle had 22 points and 12 rebounds, and the New York Knicks pulled away in the fourth quarter for a 96-84 victory over the Detroit Pistons on Sunday night. The Orange and Blue are in Detroit tomorrow night. On the ice, New Jersey will welcome Pittsburgh to Newark on Tuesday night. Puck drop is 7 p.m. The Rangers skate in Dallas Tuesday night. That game gets rolling at 8:30 Eastern. And the Islanders are also on the road. They will take on Vancouver Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern start here in New York. The Garden and the Barclays Center will host the Big East Tournament and the Atlantic 10 tourney, respectively, this week. We'll have all the coverage. Fordham men's basketball will face GW Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. at the Barclays. The Rams have had a rough season, injuries, but actually defeated GW twice on the year. The women's team, meanwhile, lost in the semifinals of the A10 championships, Saturday. They don't get a chance to repeat, but could play in the NIT later in March. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. In soccer, Julie Ertz's header in the 87th minute extended the U.S.'s unbeaten streak to 30 games as the Americans sealed a 1-0 win over Spain in the She Believes Cup on Sunday at a sold-out Red Bull Arena in New Jersey. That's a way to celebrate International Women's Day. UFC 248 belonged to women too. Joanna Jędrzejczyk looked unrecognizable. Check out this picture right here. The 32-year-old Polish fighter suffered a gruesome hematoma during her UFC 248 loss to Zhang Weili, the 30-year-old from China who successfully defended her strawweight title Saturday in Las Vegas in what is being called one of the best fights in the promotion's history. The fight was in stark contrast to the main event, a boring letdown between Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero. Adesanya won a unanimous decision to retain his middleweight title. Over in the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys have offered quarterback Dak Prescott a contract with an average value of $33 million per year, according to reports, because Prescott currently has no contract. The so-called new money value of any deal he accepts will match the more practical assessment of a new contract, what that contract is worth from the moment it's signed. We'll stick with QB news as we enter another week of the soap opera that has eaten the NFL offseason. The guy who's writing the script says he's not finished with it just yet. Former Pats coach Charlie Weis said last week that Tom Brady texted him with the following important update about the constant updates about his free agency and his future. He said, I do have one bit of scoop here. I've been texting with Tommy, Weis said. I don't usually pass along these conversations, but one thing he told me was nobody knows anything. So anyone who is telling you that they know, they don't know. Vegas has odds in favor that Brady returns to New England. To be continued. The Buffalo Bills and cornerback Josh Norman have agreed to a 1-year deal worth $6 million with incentives that could reach $8 million. Norman reunites with Bills head coach Sean McDermott, who was his defensive coordinator with the Carolina Panthers from 2012 to 15. Norman's agreement with the Bills was first reported by the NFL Network. It looks like the New York Guardians have found their quarterback, Luis Perez, threw an 80-yard touchdown pass to Colby Pearson in the third quarter to help lead the Guardians to a 30-12 blowout win over the Dallas Renegades on Saturday night at Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas. It was the first road win of the season for the 3-2 Guardians, who have won 2 straight. They are back home at MetLife this coming weekend. On the baseball diamond, Gary Sanchez said he is hopeful that he will have no issues to return to full practice after feeling tightness and his lower back. But the New York Yankees all-star catcher is being cautious and taking a few days off to rest. The 27-year-old is the latest Yankee to deal with an ailment during spring training, seemingly picking up where the team left off last year when New York put a major league record 30 players on the injured list. Sanchez was scratched from batting practice Saturday after starting 2 consecutive games for the first time this spring and didn't participate in full practice on Sunday. Commissioner Rob Manfred will be having a conference call today with all team owners about the COVID-19 outbreak. The league expects the season to proceed as planned. The conference call is the first time all of the owners and Manfred have spoken together about the coronavirus and their plans for the potential impact of the disease on business in baseball. The NBA has advised its teams that they should be prepared to play games without fans in attendance. Japan's top baseball league has been playing its spring training games to empty stands, if you can believe that, something we've seen in Italy too with their pro sports teams. Each MLB team is developing its own contingency plan, and the league itself is coordinating with the CDC. Joey Logano won Sunday's Cup race. Better news here at Phoenix Raceway in an overtime finish, beating Kevin Harvick to score his second win of 2020. Logano is the first repeat winner of the season in NASCAR. Logano held on to win over Harvick, Kyle Busch, Kyle Lawson, and Clint Boyer. The Team Penske driver bounced back from an uncontrolled tire penalty in Stage 2, as well as a slow pit stop due to a broken jack. Logano led 60 of the race's 316 laps. It is his second Cup win at Phoenix. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a goodbye to Kenny Atkinson. Very sad here. I'm going to miss Kenny in Brooklyn. I think he's one of the best coaches in the NBA. Even Mike Miller, the interim coach of the Knicks, does not believe Atkinson will be out of work for very long. Atkinson, the former Knicks assistant coach under Mike D'Antoni and CAA client, who was fired by the Nets on Saturday, figures to be among the candidates to be the next Knicks head coach under new team president and longtime CAA agent Leon Rose. So the next logical question is this: did the players want him gone in Brooklyn? And if so, which ones? Those were the whispers that took hold as soon as the shots were fired on Saturday. You know how I feel about Kevin Durant. He's amazing. But there's part of me that wonders now if he's worth grabbing in free agency, if you can believe that, because that meant taking on Kyrie Irving. And as great a player as Irving is, he might be behind all of this. He's done in several coaches before, and that could very well be the case here too. I hope not, and I hope Kenny, a gentleman and a fine coach, gets a good job after this. He deserved a chance to coach Kyrie and KD and lead the Nets to the promised land after building the team from the bottom up with Sean Marks. Knicks fans should want Miller to stay. He's done a very good job, but if the Knicks go in another direction, Atkinson should be at the top of that list. He'll be missed in Brooklyn. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.